اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم، أنت الرب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر عظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور، وهو الشهر الذي فرضت صيامه عليه، وهو الشهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من 1000 شهر. فيا ذا المن ولا يمن علي، من علي بفكاك رغبتي من النار في من تمن عليه، وأدخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم رب شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن وافترضت على عبادك فيه الصيام، صل على محمد وآل محمد وارزقني حج بيتك الحرام في عامي هذا وفي كل عام، واغفر لي تلك الذنوب العظام، فإنه لا يغفرها غيرك يا رحمن يا علام. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا اللهم إني أفتتح الثناء بحمدك، وأنت مصدد للصواب بمنك، وأيقنت أنك أنت أرحم الراحمين في موضع العفو والرحمة، وأشد المعاقبين في موضع النكال والنقمة، وأعظم المتجبرين في موضع الكبرياء والعظمة. اللهم أذنت لي في دعائك ومسألتك، فاسمع يا سميع مدحتي، وعجب يا رحيم دعوتي، وأقل يا غفور عثرتي. فكم يا إلهي من قربة قد فرجتها، وهموم قد كشفتها، وعثرة قد أقلتها، ورحمة قد نشرتها، وحلقة بلاء قد فككتها. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، ولم يكن له شريك في الملك، ولم يكن له ولي من الذل، وكبره تكبيرا. الله أكبر. الحمد لله بجميع محامده كلها على جميع نعمه كلها. الحمد لله الذي لا مضاد له في ملكه ولا منازع له في أمره. الحمد لله الذي لا شريك له في خلقه ولا شبيه له في عظمته. الحمد لله الفاشي في الخلق أمره وحمده، الظاهر بالكرم مجده، الباسط بالجود يده، الذي لا تنقص خزائنه ولا تزيده كثرة العطاء، إنا جودا وكرما، إنه هو العزيز الوهاب. اللهم إني أسألك قليلا من كثير، مع حاجة بي إليه عظيمة، وغناك عنه قديم، وهو عندي كثير، وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إن عفوك عن ذنبي، وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي، وصفحك عن ظلمي، وسترك على قبيح عملي، وهلمك عن كثير جرمي، إنك عندما كان من خطئي وعمدي أطمعني في أن أسألك ما لا أستوجبه منك، الذي رزقتني من رحمتك وأريتني من قدرتك وعرفتني من إجابتك، فصرت أدعوك آمنا وأسألك مستعنسا، لا خائفا ولا وجلا، مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك، فإن أبطأ عني عتبت بجحلي عليك، ولعل الذي أبطأ عني هو خير لي لعلمك بعاقبة الأمور، فلم أر مولا كريما أصبر على عبد لئيم منك عليه. يا ربي إنك تدعوني فأولي عنك، وتتحبب إلي فأتبغض إليك، وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك، كأن لي التطول عليك، فلم يمنعك ذلك من الرحمة لي والإحسان إليه والتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك، فارحم عبدك الجاهل وجد عليه بفضل إحسانك، إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالق الإصباح ديان الدين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على حلمه بعد علمه، والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته، والحمد لله على طول عناته في غضبه وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق فالق الإصباح ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام، الذي بعد فلا يراه وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له منازع يعادله، ولا شبيه يشاكله، ولا ظهير يعاضده، قهر بعزته العزا وتواضع لعظمته العظمى، فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أناديه، ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا أحصيه، ويعظم النعمة علي فلا أجازيه، فكم من موهبة حنيئة قد أعطاني، وعظيمة مخوفة قد كفاني، وبهجة مونقة قد أراني، فأثني عليه حامدا وأذكره مسبها. الحمد لله الذي لا يهتك حجابه ولا يغلق بابه ولا يرد سائله ولا يخيب آمله. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين ويرفع المستضعفين ويضع المستكبرين، ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلفه في الآخرين. والحمد لله قاسم الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الحاربين نكال الظالمين صريخ المستصرخين موضي حاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها، وترجف الأمر وعمارها، وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق، ويرزق ولا يرزق، ويطعم ولا يطعم، ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى، وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير، وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك، أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأصنى، وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحنات وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفوتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين، عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبأ العظيم. وصل على الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين. وصل على صبتي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي، حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلوات كثيرة دائمة. اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المعمل والعدل المنتظر وحفه بملائكتك المقربين وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك، استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبله، مكن له دينه الذي ارتضيته له، أبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا، يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وأعزز به، وانصره وانتصر به، وانصره نصرا عزيزا، وافتح له فتحا يسيرا، واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من الخلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأحلى، وتذل بها النفاق وأحلى، وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك، وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملنا، وما قصرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المم به شعثنا، واشعب به صدعنا، وارتق به فتقنا، وكثر به قلتنا، وأعزز به ذلتنا، وأغني به عائلنا، واقضي به عن مغرمنا، واجبر به فقرنا، وسد به خلتنا، ويسر به عسرنا، وبيض به وجوهنا، وفك به أسرنا، وأنجح به طلبتنا، وأنجز به مواعيدنا، واستجب به دعوتنا، وأعطنا به سؤلنا، وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا، وأعطنا به فوق رغبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعطين. اشفي به صدورنا، وأذهب به غيظ قلوبنا، واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك، إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق آمين. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله، وغيبة ولينا، وكثرة عدونا، وقلة عددنا، وشدة الفتن بنا، وتظاهر الزمان علينا. فصل على محمد وآله، وعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تعجله، وبضر تكشفه، ونصر تعزه، وسلطان حق تظهره، ورحمة منك تجللناها، وعافية منك تلبسناها، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم برحمتك في الصالحين فأدخلنا، وفي عليين فارفعنا، وبكأس من معين من عين سلسبيل فاسقنا، ومن الحور العين برحمتك فزوجنا، ومن الولدان المخلدين كأنهم لؤلؤ مكنون فأخدمنا، ومن ثمار الجنة ولوهوم الطير فأطعمنا، ومن ثياب السندس والحرير والاستبرق فالبسنا، وليلة القدر، وحج بيتك الحرام، وقتلا في سبيلك فوفق لنا، وصالح الدعاء والمسألة فاستجب لنا. وإذا جمعت الأولين والآخرين يوم القيامة فارحمنا، وبراءة من النار فاكتب لنا، وفي جهنم فلا تغلنا، وفي عذابك وهوانك فلا تبتلنا، ومن الزقوم والضريع فلا تطعمنا، ومع الشياطين فلا تجعلنا، وفي النار على وجوهنا فلا تكببنا، ومن ثياب النار وسرابيل القتران فلا تلبسنا، ومن كل سوء يا لا إله إلا أنت، بحق لا إله إلا أنت فنجنا. اللهم إني أسألك أن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر من الأمر المحتوم في الأمر الحكيم، من القضاء الذي لا يرد ولا يبدل، أن تكتبني من حجاج بيتك الحرام المبرور حجهم، المشكور سعيهم، المغفور ذنوبهم، المكفر عن سيئاتهم، وأن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر أن تطيل عمري في خير وعافية، وتوسع في رزقي، وتجعلني ممن تنتصر به لدينك ولا تستبدل في غيري. الله أعوذ بجلال وجهك الكريم أن ينقضي عني شهر رمضان، أو يطلع الفجر من ليلتي هذه، ولك قبلي تبعة أو ذنب تعذبني عليه. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم أدخل على أهل القبور السرور. اللهم أغني كل فقير. اللهم أشبع كل جائع. اللهم اكس كل عريان. اللهم اقض دين كل مدين. اللهم فرج عن كل مكروب. اللهم رد كل غريب. اللهم فك كل أسير. اللهم أصلح كل فاسد من أمور المسلمين. اللهم اشف كل مريض. اللهم سد فقرنا بغنائك. اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك. اللهم اقضي عنا الدين وأغننا من الفقر، إنك على كل شيء قدير.
Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Today, Friday, 24th of March, eve of 3rd of Ramadan, 1444. Please recite Namaz Washad or Hadiyat Mayat for Marhuma Nurnisa Safdar Hussain Jalali of Dar Islam, who passed away yesterday and buried today. Al-Fatiha. Tomorrow, Saturday, 25th of March. Zohran program will start at 11:50 p.m. 11:50 with Masail by Maulana Sayyid Kalbi Abbas Sahib, followed by Jamaat Salah at 12:14 p.m. Main evening program will start at 8 p.m. with Darsa, Duaz and lecture by Shaykh Mohammad Jawad Shomali. Al-Hadi announcements. Join Al-Hadi youth for a weekend of connection and reflection. Tonight, after the main program, ladies and gents are invited to join us as we recite and reflect on Dua Abu Hamza Shomali with Sheikh Jawad. Tomorrow, after the main program, Sheikh Jawad will join us for an interactive discussion on his lecture series, open to both ladies and gents. Straight after the discussion circle, there will be a gents table tennis tournament and social in the marquee, hosted by Al-Hadi Youth and Stanmore Jaffries. For more information on Al-Hadi Youth events during the holy month and to register, please visit the Hujjat website or follow at Al-Hadi Youth on Instagram. Darul Quran Wal Itra invites all ladies to join for Holy Quran recitation and talk by Sister Zainab Jafar on challenging times for believers. This will be held in the Ladies' Main Hall on Saturday, 1st April and Sunday, 2nd of April. Program will run parallel with the Gents' Main program. Koyej Youth Board is organizing a Gents Youth Retreat from 5th of May to 7th of May 2023. Further details on our screens or koyej.org. Mahe Ramadan Iftar Fund is now open. The cost is 2,500 on normal nights and £5,000 for Wafat, Wiladat and Amal nights. Please speak to Brother Sajjad Tajani or Sister Nasima by Karim, the chair lady, if you would like to sponsor or part sponsor. The annual rugby car parking pass can be purchased for £80 for a year and will allow the holder to park at the rugby without having to pay £1 charge during each visit. Please note, this does not provide any preferential treatment and parking will still be subject to first come, first served basis. Please visit the Hujjat website or contact the admin team for more details. Now, nutrition announcement. As part of Ramadan, Nourishing Your Soul food campaign, we will be showing you a quick, easy nutrition tips that you can follow this Ramadan to support every energy levels. Tip of the day, let's watch the video now.
It's important to stay hydrated during Ramadan. Drink plenty of water throughout the night. Night, not day. And before the fast begins to help with your energy levels. Try to drink at least 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. You can also incorporate hydrating fruits and vegetables such as oranges, watermelon, strawberries, peach and broccoli to bump up your fluid intake too.
Oh, that's a short video, President. And I hope you will provide the waters to us. And now finally, please recite 5 times Amma Yujibul for those who are not well. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amma Yujibul Mustarra Iza Da'ahu wa Yaksifus Su. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء 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 اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Now can we please welcome Shaykh with Salawat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Dear sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum. I pray that you're all well, inshallah. You know, the nutrition information our brother gave was very important. When to have water. One time not to have water is right before the lectures. It's going to be a tough night. If you remember, we started a discussion on how in life generally it's a great idea to learn from people who have a quality or something that we want to have. Well, that could be in normal life if someone, for example, has confidence, if someone knows a skill, if someone has a good habit. We can try to see how did they have it, learn from them, shadow them, allow them to be our mentors, and slowly we become like them. And we said, well, in these nights, in this holy month of Ramadan, if we want to gain that connection with God, if we want to receive more gifts from God, then let's choose as our mentor Zainul Abidin, the ornament of the worshippers, and allow him to be our mentor. We shadow him and see how does he do things, and we become like him. We thought maybe a good way to do this would be to look at Imam Sajjad's dua Abu Hamza Shomali, and by reflecting on the words of this dua, try to slowly basically learn how this great personality relates to God. What does he ask from God? Because one thing you don't want to do in this month of Ramadan is to ask for little. Not that don't ask for little things. Ask for them too, but don't stop there. If there's way more to offer, why should we stop at insignificant things? So we thought, let's go and see what does Imam Sajjad ask from God. The first line of the dua was what? Ilahi la tu'addibni bi'uqubatik. Imam was telling us that there are two ways of growing. There are two ways of education. Unfortunately, most people, I would say 99.9% of us, are stuck in a way that Imam Sajjad says, I don't want this. It's not bad, but it's not the fastest way. It's level 1, and above it, there are many levels. Just to recap and remind us of what the first way was, Imam Sajjad said this first way is the way of reward and punishment. You do things because you want to get a reward out of it, or you you avoid things because there's a punishment. Or, as I said, initially you may not notice it. You do something, let's say, for example, I don't brush my teeth. I don't pay attention, I said, I don't care. I keep not doing it. Suddenly the doctor says, if you're not careful, we have to pull a few of these. Or even worse, you have to pay so much. Sometimes that's even more painful than losing your teeth, right? Unless you have a relative who's a dentist, which alhamdulillah I'm sorted. But I'm saying, what happens at that moment when your dentist suddenly tells you that, oh, it seems like a few years of not taking care of your teeth. Now, this is the consequence. At that moment, honestly, what do we say inside? Oh, I wish I had taken care of them. What is this? This is learning. Imam Sajjad says this is learning through the consequence of your action. You went and faced the consequence of not doing something, and you were like, oh, now I learned the lesson. But he says, why do you want to go ahead in life, make so many mistakes, hit so many walls till you finally learn what's the right way? There's a whole other way. In other words, Imam Sajjad is saying in the first line of this dua that there are two types of people. Some people first act in the world, then through that they gain knowledge. Some people first they gain the knowledge and then they act. Right? And that's why their journey is much faster and way less painful. Because some of the lessons in life, as I mentioned yesterday, by the time we learn the lesson, it may be too late or it's so much pain involved. Imagine, for example, the example I mentioned last night, that if I only realized that I should have spent more time with my grandfather after he's passed away. Well, I learned it now, but it's a little bit late. I mean, I can still pray for him, but grandpa is gone. So Imam Sajjad says, why do you not want to try a different method? A different method in which first the knowledge comes to your heart, the right lessons come to your heart, and then from that point you go into the world and you act. Even if you look at the Quran, it says, usually, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. It says first, Iman, that proper faith comes, and then as a result of that, they act. Right? In other words, action should be the natural outpouring of that faith which is inside you. Now, what is the way we usually do it? And by we, I mean all humanity, apart from a few who are actually following the footsteps of prophets and Ahl Bayt. We first act, hoping that the faith at some point will come. Please recite the salawat. 24 minutes, that's such a nice number. Alhamdulillah, maybe I can relax a little bit. I relaxed too much. I forgot what I was saying. Knowledge came back. What was I saying? I was saying there's two ways of living. In one way, first there's knowledge and then action. In another way, there's action. You make a mistake, you realize, oh, I should change. Then knowledge comes. Right? Does that make sense? Not studying. Then you realize, oh my God, I'm falling behind everyone. You're like, okay, now I study. Or not taking care of your family, they become cold. You're like, ooh, I should have taken care of my family. Imam Sajjad says, in a muwahhid, a person who's connected to God, a mu'min, a true mu'min, is think about it. One of my teachers once was saying, we haven't seen a proper follower of Ahl Bayt for so long, we've almost forgotten what it looks like. We have forgotten what kind of life is possible for us. We are insan. Isn't it weird that sometimes we forget the basics? Isn't it weird that we hurt our loved ones? We've got used to these things. If you ask Imam Sajjad, he says, nah, this is weird. You're better than this. I'm not judging us. I'm saying we've forgotten something really important. We were so focused on the action which didn't have that foundation of proper understanding and relation with God, that life has reached to a place where if you really think about it, it's a very weird situation. And I said, I'm not judging any of us, but let me just tell some of the things which are happening between us. Every community I go, at least I see a few cases. Someone says, yes, father passed away and uncle passed away. They were like working together. Now between the cousins, there's massive disputes for the inheritance. I'm like, okay, two cousins should fight over inheritance? Again, I'm not judging any of them all. I'm saying what happened to us? Why did we reach a stage where my cousin, who we grew up together, they lived in our house, we lived in our house, we got to a place where we're fighting over these things? Another person calls me and says, you know what, my dad is disrespecting our mother so much. When my dad comes to the room, my mother shakes. I'm like, what happened? Are we not a follower of Ahl Bayt? Are we not a follower of Prophet? When did they ever, who ever shook in the presence of Imam Ali? In the sense that, Imam Ali comes home, would children be scared? When Prophet came to children, would children be scared? No. His presence would calm everyone down. Hello, what happened to us? This is not, by the way, who we are. Last night, subhanAllah, God gave me an inspiration. I was thinking about saying this tonight. I saw one of the brothers who reminds me of the Arbaeen trip. He took me to the Arbaeen walk. This, last Arbaeen was my first experience of going on the walk. One of the things I fell in love with the walk because I felt like for a few days, and I look at people very carefully, especially with that psychotherapy lens, I really try to look at how people change before, during, and after the walk. One of the things I realized that in the walk we are insan. It's like people who back home may compete, may bring each other down, they're so late to help one another. In those 2-3 days, it seems like we're different. Everyone, the first thing on their thought was, how can I help someone else? There was this mother who had come with her toddler. So she's in a place where, and imagine walking with a toddler, it's very difficult. But all the time she was asking us, how can I help you? It's like, what is this? This is the insani life. This is how humans meant to live. Have you seen the sacrifices made on the walk? People go out of their way to be there for another. Was there any jealousy? If you see another person doing something really beautiful, you get happy for them. That 2-3 days, I really felt like this is what it means to be insan. I don't want to go back to this life. Why are we like this in this normal life? We've forgotten what we are. And Arbaeen, I think, was a reminder for us. Insan, there's a whole other way of living. Charities don't need to fight. When we come back, when we forget who we are, even charities fight against each other. But charity is meant to be a place of beauty, helping others. In every place, Quran says even religious scholars sometimes fight one another. Oh, what kind of life is this that the one who's meant to remind us of God, we fight against each other? And I'm not saying anyone else, all of us, me as well. If I forget what I am, if I forget I'm an insan, I stop behaving like an insan, and I slowly fall into the habits of the creatures I find myself around, like other animals and plants and trees. With the trees, I've said this a few times. Honestly, if you go to a jungle, what happens? The longer tree tries to get all the sun, and these smaller trees which are underneath it won't get any sun. With animals, it's the same. The stronger one will go and get the food or the prey so others won't get it. We are kind of behaving like them. If I have more power, let me bring someone down. Why did this happen to us? Imam Sajjad says, because you opened your eyes, you found yourself next to trees and plants and cats and dogs and lions, slowly you thought you're like that. Do you know how many communities I go, they say if you have a Shia business, other Shias try to bring you down instead of supporting you? I'm not saying that I'm judging us. Nah. Imam Sajjad says, obviously you would do this. The reason is that you have forgotten the way we wanted you to grow. What is that way? First, you connect to God. You realize who you are. The Quran said, if you forget me, God says in the Quran, the one who forgets God will slowly forget himself and herself. What happens if you forget who you are as an insan? You start getting worried. You start getting insecure. You start feeling you have to fight to get what's yours. Forgetting God has taken care of you. Forgetting the love you want is coming from God. So you may fight. You may fight over attention. Me as a scholar, if I see you pay attention to another scholar more, okay, oh, no, pay attention to me. Yani, I'm not saying anyone is better than anyone else. Insan is like this. If I forget my relationship with God, slowly I become weird. I forget who I am. Imam Sajjad now in Dua Abu Hamza Thumali says, Insan, let's go back. Let's remember who you are. Let's live a different way. Don't you wish the whole year was like those 2-3 days in the Arbaeen walk? Let me give you an example, but please recite the salawat. One of the brothers in Nairobi was sharing this with me about their experience in the walk. He said one year it was the cold Arbaeen, not like now, which is hot. They were going, they reached a place, there was this little kid who had this small stall offering people drinks and whatnot. He said we got to this little kid's mokib. It was very cold. And we thought maybe we can sit down there, have a tea, I don't know what they had, warm up a little bit and then continue the walk. He said after a few minutes, this little kid, I don't know, he mentioned the age, I don't remember, 9 years old, 10 years old. He brought some wood and set it on fire to create fire for us to keep us warm. After a few minutes, we were getting warm enough. His dad came, looked around and said, where's your chair? The wood was his own chair. He had dismantled the chair he had to burn fire and create some warmth for these people he doesn't know. This is what insan lives. Imagine if the whole year we treated each other like that. I'll let go of my chair for you to be warm for 10 minutes and you go, you don't even remember me. I'm not saying I'm better than you are, not at all. If you look at my life, I'm the worst. Imam Sajjad says, of course you are Jawad, because you've forgotten who you are. I mean, there are some beautiful narrations about Ahl Bayt say how we want our followers to be. Saying Shaykh Father, by the way, has a lecture on social wilaya. Please go and watch that. There's a hadith in which the Imam says, you would be our true followers when if one of you needs help, he doesn't even need to ask his brother. Masalan, you need help, you come to my house, I'm not home. He says you should be so comfortable with each other. You come to my house, you take what you need from my pocket and you go. That kind of brotherhood, that kind of closeness, which we experience it. If we hadn't seen, for example, the Arbaeen walk, like this is nonsense. How can ever people be like that? But in the walk we've seen, people give one another whatever they have. The guy brings, for example, these things for you not to get blisters. He himself has blisters, he gives it to you. Bibin past insan can live a beautiful life. If life right now, it's like this, that most of us were tired of it. People say, why did God bring us to this dunya? I'm like, obviously, the way we treat each other, why would anyone be interested in the life in this world? Allah Imam says there's another way. The reason why after 14 centuries after the Ahl Bayt, we still haven't managed to learn the way they want, and it's beautiful for us, is that we got the prescription wrong. We went for action first, hoping one day faith will come. Imam says faith is first, then through that do action. Knowledge first, and then action. Now, if someone says, Shaykh, you're saying that we shouldn't do actions, we shouldn't pray, we shouldn't read the Quran, I have something for you. A yellow card for anyone who says that. You are not paying attention. I did not say don't do actions, right? So no one going around saying, Shaykh said no Quran, no prayer. Actions are important, right? If anyone misrepresents me, you've already received the yellow card. If you do it again, the guy may have to go for more serious. Past actions are important, but if you want to understand the relation between actions and that knowledge that Imam Sajjad is talking about, see, actions are like the language of your soul. Actions are almost like that, warning signals you get on your car. Mesela you're driving, suddenly a yellow light appears on your car, right? Actions are like that. It's telling you something is wrong. Mesela, let's say I'm lying. That if I'm lying, or if, for example, I'm stealing, if I'm shouting at someone, if I'm angry at someone, that's like a yellow warning to me that something is wrong. Just like your car could give you a warning. Maybe you need oil, maybe you need a service. Hala, if your car gives you a yellow warning, what is the solution? Do you go and break that yellow light? Oh, problem solved. The problem was the yellow warning. Done. No more yellow warning. Or put a sticker on top. Nah. That is telling you something deeper is happening in the engine. Past, Imam Sajjad says, Insan, if you lie, if you steal, if you're angry, whatever problem you have in your actions, you can't fix it by more actions. You have to go inside and see what qualities you have. A problem with an action is only a signal that something internally is wrong. In the level of your qualities. But even qualities are not the actual thing. Even if I say myself, I can't love others. I'm jealous. I'm scared. Imam Sajjad says, still this is not where you should focus as. This is a signal that tells you the way you understand the world, your faith, your knowledge of the world, there is something missing there. You fix that, your qualities will be better, and as a result of that, your actions will be better. Does that make sense? This is what I mean by knowledge first, then actions. Imam says, by your actions, you can never fix who you are. And at the level of action, you can't really address the problem. Imagine there's this sin I'm doing on a daily basis. I've become addicted to it. Nights of Qadr comes, I say, God, forgive me, Al-Af, and let's say God forgives. As long as I haven't addressed that quality, Ramadan finishes, tomorrow I'm starting again. Why? Because I did not address that thing inside which was producing this action. Even if God forgives the action, that quality is inside. But Imam Sajjad says everything goes back to knowledge. Now please recite salawat. How are we feeling, by the way? Are you following? Yeah? I thought I have 10 minutes time. Let me engage the audience a little bit and see how are you doing. Is everyone okay? Is it only me, or are you feeling a little bit warm as well? Maybe it's just this passion I have inside. It's the love I have of honestly being next to you. It's such an honor to be next to you, mashallah. Thank you so much, by the way, for your attention. And I think that we're awake. What was I saying? Knowledge first, then action. And we said, if anyone says, Shaykh said actions are not important, should I get it out? You know. Someone may say, Shaykh, you keep saying knowledge first, then actions will come, or faith first, then action will come. We have knowledge. What kind of knowledge are you talking about? We've gone to masalan all these curriculums in madrasa, or we've listened to so many lectures, or masalan we know what Tawheed is, we know what this is, we know what that is. What are you on about? I know Tawheed, but I'm still the shouting person I was. This is where Imam Sajjad gives us two criteria for what type of knowledge can change you as a person. Not any knowledge you learn as a form of religious knowledge will have impact on you. If religious knowledge had impact on us, I should have been the best person and I'm not because I have so much knowledge. Most of us, honestly, if any of us comes here, can give a whole lecture on any topic. Tawakkul, nemidunam, reva. Isn't it true? Sometimes we even, masalan, our teenagers come and give talks. But if this type of knowledge was life-changing, we would have all been angels. Nah. Imam Sajjad says, for knowledge to be life-changing, transformative, it shouldn't be on the tongue, nor should it be in the mind. It should be on the heart. I'll give you a few examples. By the way, there's another quality knowledge should have. We don't have time to talk about it. It's in the book. Anyone wants can go there. I'll mention one of the qualities. There's another one as well. But for tonight, we want to talk a bit about this. That knowledge should not be on your tongue or in your mind. It should be in your heart. Let me give you an example of knowledge on the tongue. A lot of us, when we read these du'as, I pay attention because I love du'as so much. For me, du'as are honestly it's the most precious thing in my life. God and then du'as, because du'as are the way to get to God. So I love du'as more than anyone else, at least equal. So when we read these du'as together, I'm paying full attention. Sometimes I feel like if people knew what they're reciting, they wouldn't have said it. That shows me that's du'a at the tongue. I mentioned this example last year. Masalan, one of the du'as we're reciting this month is what? Allahumma adkhil ala ahl al-qubur as surur. I know for many people this is just at their tongue. How do I know that? I'm like, if you knew what you're saying, you wouldn't have said it. God, I want happiness and joy for anyone in the grave. Ahl al-qubur. I'm like, mate, how many of you can? I know you had issues with your mother-in-law and she passed away and you called me and said, I don't want to forgive her. Honestly, hope I've received these calls. Matt, tonight you come at the mosque and you say, Allahumma adkhil ala ahl al-qubur. Like, you don't know what you're saying. If you knew what you're saying, something in your heart would say, oof, even mother-in-law who passed away? No, not her. Ahl al-qubur, except for her. Why does this person come to the mosque and easily, like chocolate, God sent surur to everyone? Well, she's not paying attention, or he's not paying attention to what she's saying. This is knowledge on the tongue. Hala, again, I'm not judging God. Knowledge should come to the tongue till it goes to the mind and the heart. If someone says, Shaykh is saying, don't do the du'as, I think red card. Red card. I'm not saying let's not do the du'as. I'm saying if you come across like a line like this, that God sent joy to all the people who've passed away, ask yourself this question. In what state the Prophet or the Imam were that they were at peace with everyone who passed away? Why am I not like that? Why do I still hate my uncle who took all the inheritance money? If I hate him, I'm a little bit different to Imam Sadiq because he's at peace with anyone who passed away. He said, I don't have personal problems with anyone. Personal problems. I don't have personal problems with 10 million people. If you reach a level like this, you ask yourself, what was happening in the mind and the heart of the Imam or the Prophet who say that? That was knowledge on the tongue. Sometimes knowledge is on the mind. It's gone from tongue to mind. I know what I'm saying, but it doesn't mean anything for my heart. There's this hadith, maybe people go to Prophet and they say, Prophet, what should we do to succeed in life or in this life, the hereafter, amazing going on. Prophet gives them a prescription. Let me build some vibe for this hadith. Imagine the Prophet gives a prescription that says, if you follow this, you're sorted. This world and the next, that's it. Just this one thing, do it. If Prophet lived at this time, there would be honestly tens of YouTube lectures with titles saying, guaranteed prescription for success by Prophet. Must watch video by the Prophet. Prophet finally shares the secret. See, what is that? Prophet says, قُولُوا لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ تُفْلِحُ. Say La ilaha illallah, you will be happy. I'm sure if you're honest with yourself, you're going to knew that I've said La ilaha illallah a million times. Where's that falah? Where's that success? Honestly, think about it. How many Muslims in the world have said La ilaha illallah? All of us, Are all the Muslims right now in the best situations? Nah. That's what happened. Na'uzu billah, na'uzu billah, na'uzu billah. God's Prophet's promise is not true? No. But something else is wrong. The Prophet says, when I said, قُولُوا لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ, I didn't mean say it like a parrot. I said, say it like an insan. In Hadith of Mi'raj, because we have a few hadiths called Hadith of Mi'raj. In one of them, there's a line, it describes who are the people of heaven. One people, it says they are the ones who only say things that they mean it. If I say La ilaha illallah, there's the truth of that is not in my heart, obviously I won't get there. That's like a parrot who's been trained to say La ilaha illallah. Yesterday I gave you the example. A parrot can say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Well, the Muslims I see on that on Instagram, they get so excited. But honestly, if you go to the heart of that parrot doesn't know anything. Imam Sajjad says, Baba, you are treating yourself and your children like a parrot. Again, not judging. We're trying to go to level 2. This is good. But if I get my child to memorize all of the Quran, which is good, but if I stop at that point and my child comes, doesn't know what he's saying, or even he knows the words, he knows what is Allahu Akbar, it means God is greater. Is God is greater in his heart? How do I know if it's in his heart or not? A problem happens. If he gets overwhelmed by that problem, it means that problem al-akbar. If a temptation comes and my child falls into the temptation, that means temptation akbar. Perhaps even though I know in my mind that God is greater, if that knowledge is not in my heart, I'm like a tape recorder. Although maybe a little bit more than a tape recorder. At least I know what I'm saying. Maybe I'm like a very smart AI. But still, I'm not an insan. So when Prophet says, قُولُوا لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ تُفْلِحُوا, he didn't say that whenever you know there is no God but مثلا, but Allah, that you reach falah. He said, no, the truth of that should be in your heart. Please recite the salawat. I think we need another yellow card for anyone who says Shaykh said our children shouldn't memorize the Quran. I did not say that. I said don't stop there. Why do I say don't stop there? Because I know Qurra of Quran, Huffaz of Quran who don't believe in God right now. As a Shaykh, I get this a lot. Many people who are like, when they leave Islam, we have a lot of people who are leaving Islam, but the ones who leave Islam and are very passionate are usually coming from very religious families. A kid memorized Nahj al-Balagha even and say, I don't believe in God. Why? Because that God was never in your heart. A God you can deny is not the real God here. If you see the real God in your heart, you can never let go. This is why I'm saying let's go to level 2 of Imam Sajjad. Hala, just 1 minute, I'll speak more than my time. You don't tell the organizers, just 1 more minute. I'll open what La ilaha illallah is a little bit. Tomorrow we'll continue, inshallah. I mean, La ilaha illallah, one of the meanings of ilah is like a cave. Oh? Imagine you're on a very cold day on a mountain. It's nighttime, scary, you're getting scared. It's cold, animals may come to attack you, it's stormy, it's rainy, you're on a mountain. Just imagine that situation. You find a cave. You go inside the cave, rain doesn't hit you anymore, it's a little bit warmer, and if you open a fire at the door, animals won't come inside as well. And suddenly, this cave made you feel safe, made you feel warm, all of your worries are gone. Isn't that the most precious thing you have that moment? That's one of the meanings of ilah. La ilaha illallah, that Prophet said, if you say you'll succeed, is to find God like that in your life. To have reached an understanding of real understanding in your heart of God, that whatever need I have, I can find safety with God. Perhaps if at some point in my life, I get scared, it means I haven't found my ilah. If I get overwhelmed, it means I haven't found my ilah. La ilaha illallah means I looked around in this world and I found only safety with God. And I found safety. You wouldn't be scared. Inna awliya Allah la khawfun alayhim wa lahum yahzanun. Once you find the cave of God, after that there's no worry for you. There's no grief and no fear will overwhelm you. This is the La ilaha illallah that can change you. But Halan, if you say La ilaha illallah 1,000,000 times, will that give you that safety? No. We need to go to level 2. And inshallah tomorrow we do that. Let's pray that inshallah God enables us to go to this level 2 that Imam Sajjad wants us to achieve, inshallah. And if there is any light in tonight's session, may it reach the soul of those who have passed away, and also the beautiful people who are going through challenging times right now. Let them know that we think about them and we care about them. Let's end with the salawat.
Ziyarat.
Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulallah. Assalamu alaikum ya Nabi Allah. Assalamu alaikum ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Assalamu alaikum Fatimah al-Zahra Sayyidat al-Nisa al-Alameen. Assalamu alaikum Khadijat al-Kubra. Assalamu alaikum ya Hasan al-Mujtaba. Assalamu alaikum ya Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. Wa ala tisatil ma'asumeen min zurriyatik. Ali ibn al-Hussein wa Muhammad ibn Ali wa Jafar ibn Muhammad wa Musa ibn Jafar wa Ali ibn Musa wa Muhammad ibn Ali wa Ali ibn Muhammad wa al-Hasan ibn Ali wa al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan ajjalallahu ta'ala farajak wa saharallahu makhrajak wa zuhurak wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها ذبيحا.
Brothers, you are requested to be seated, please. Tea can be served. Please take seat, Hassan. Again, can I, brothers, request you all to be seated, please? Be seated, Hassan.